and I was thrown out of the building and arrested. But I explained to the cop, she lied to me about her age. She said that she was 15.
And welcome to another episode of Sweet Nothings Podcast with Tony and Freddie. I am Tony.
And I'm Freddie.
How's it going, man?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. Been a little crazy over this last week and a half.
It's been a terrible week and a half, but it's only getting better.
It is always
I'm
getting
here.
better.
I'm with Tony, and we get to talk trash for another hour.
Yeah. It's what we enjoy and everybody else probably hates.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I remember you talking about last episode. You told me about AFI.
Yeah.
And you were bummed out.
I forgot. I haven't got to talk to you about this. I don't know if you saw my post.
I did see your post, and I thought you talked about it on the last podcast.
Well, no, I talked about going to AFI.
Okay.
And then we missed last week on Tuesday.
That's right, because it was Tuesday and then Wednesday.
Yeah, because I went to AFI on Tuesday, and then we're like, oh, we'll do it on Wednesday. And then you're like, well, I'm going to At the Drive-In on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And then we just, things kind of fell apart through the rest of the week, and we got caught up in our own stuff.
Okay, so you posted on Facebook that it was not a good show.
Yeah, so let me start off with, I was really excited about going to AFI. AFI has always been one of my favorite bands since I was like 13, 14, you know. And the last, 3 or 4 albums have been shit, you know. And I don't know if that's just as you get older, they're changing music to appeal to the younger crowd, whatever the case may be. But, tickets were $20. I was pumped about it. It was, up at House of Blues. We all got together, and we got there to the show, got a beer. And the 2 opening bands were pretty good. And then, when they have like a drop screen in front of the stage that's kind of showing like, oh, here's what's coming up, waiting for the band to set up and all that. Well, all of a sudden the screen starts roaring up really slowly, and then everybody starts screaming, right?
Sure.
So we're getting excited. We're getting pumped up. We're like, oh, fuck yeah, this is it. And they have like their new logo is like a triangle with like some like tears or drops or something like that that's like in the center. And so all of a sudden, like, it starts making like a heartbeat, and these giant red flashes come from it. Like, boom, 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 boom. And everyone's like, "Oh yeah, here it goes."
This is about to be awesome.
Then the drummer comes out, everyone's starts screaming because like, "Oh, we can see him now!" And then the other dudes, bass player and guitar player comes out, and the singer Davey comes out, and everyone's just fucking losing their shit, right? So then all of a sudden, it's just doing like the boom, boom, and then like the guitar feedback starts rolling. Everyone's like, oh, this is it. And I'm getting really excited. I'm like, oh my gosh, what are they going to open up with? It's
going to be a great night.
This is going to be so awesome. I hope they play all kinds of old shit they haven't played in forever. And then they open up with Miss Murder. And the first words that come out of my mouth was, are you fucking kidding me? Like, that's what they open up with. Like, Miss Murder should have been a Green Day song. Actually, I bet it was. I bet Green Day, like Billy. I bet Billy Joe Armstrong wrote that, and then he's like, it's an okay song. We have better to put on this album. And then he's like, let's give it to somebody else. And then AFI is like, ooh, we'll take it.
Yeah.
And then they made it into their song, and
So your biggest complaint, it sounded like, was that they're just promoting the new album.
Well, this show pretty much turned into that,
Yeah.
And I get it, Miss Murder was like a huge hit for them, got a lot of people listening. I guess I get it from that perspective. But then I'm like, all right, fine, let's get that out of the way.
Right.
Then the second song was like a new song. I'm like, ugh, this is fucking terrible. Then they did Girls Not Grey, which is fine. That's on like the Sing the Sorrow album. I still like that album. I think that's the last good album that they had.
That's a great album.
Yeah, it's great all the way through. And so I'm like, all right, that's fine. And then they start playing more new songs. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know any of these fucking songs because the last 4 albums have been trash.
Right.
And then they did like another song off the Sing the Sorrow. Then they did a song off of The Art of Drowning. I'm like, all right, now I'm getting more excited. We're doing older albums. Right. Then there's more new songs, a couple off Sing the Sorrow. Then they do one more off Art of Drowning. And then essentially, basically, there's more new songs. And then they end the set. So then as they're like walking off stage, they're like, they're going off and everyone's like screaming like, one more song. And I'm like, no more songs.
It was that bad.
Oh, I was livid. And then And I was like, you know what? Hold on. I started screaming, no new songs, no new songs. And there's two girls standing next to me that had to be like 20, 21. Look over me with this face of disgust. Like, who the fuck is this guy screaming for no new songs? And I just gave him that look like, fuck you, cunts. Like, I've been listening to this band for like 15 years. I'm sorry. I listened to them 2 weeks ago when the new album came out.
Yeah.
You know? And they came out and they did like all new songs except for like one of them was like, you know, something else like Off Sing the Sorrow. But it was just so disappointing.
So how, like percentage-wise, what would you say new songs to old songs that they played?
Oh, I would say 75% were new songs, like off the last couple albums.
Wow.
Yeah. And then, like, I think they only played like 4 songs off Sing the Sorrow, and then there was like 2 songs off Art of Drowning.
That's rough.
Yeah.
Well, so when they were popular and you were keeping up with them regularly,
Right.
like when you were that 21-year-old girl,
Yeah.
we were excited because they're playing new stuff and old stuff. But even 75% is a lot.
No, it was huge. Like that 75% consisted of like the last couple albums.
Right. That
which are
seems
all
like a lot.
post Sing the Sorrow. So
Yeah.
this is like, I think they had 4 albums, including the newest one.
Yeah.
It was so disappointing, dude.
Well,
and like when we were younger, though, like that.
That's because we bought the album and we
We
paid
were-
attention to it, and like no, like they were also better then. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, the music was
maybe it
way
resi-
better.
Like if you bought a CD, you read all the lyrics and you looked through all the pictures and everything like that.
and you loved everything.
Yeah, but now maybe is it that we're passive or that they're designing the set list like it's 2003 and they you know, they just had an album come out.
Yeah, see, that's crossed my mind also, but at the same time, I'm like, is it that I just loved like everything that was being put out, or is it that maybe, and I can't really remember, but I don't know if when they would do a new album and go on tour, I still don't think they played a lot of new stuff. I think they kept consistent of playing a handful of new songs just to get it out there, and then kept playing with like all the old ones
Or
circulating.
What about this? Is it that back then, I the first time I saw them, I think was like 99, and it was at Warped Tour. And maybe it was before the 98, 99, and it was at Warped Tour, and I've never heard of them. And I was like, this is a weird gothic band. No, they're not that gothic. You know, I thought they were going to be, when they came out, like they had like white face paint and all black, and I was like, oh shit, we got a Marilyn Manson type band at Warped Tour. But no, that's what got me hooked. I kind of enjoyed them after that.
Right.
But is it that when we bought a CD back then, so this is 99, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm buying CDs.
Yeah.
Like, for me, in my world, Shazam and Napster wasn't around yet.
No, I think that stuff came out. I think Napster came out when we were at least in like 10th grade.
Right. So, so we bought a CD, and I think there's like a willful like acceptance when you buy a CD because you just spent $12.
Mm-hmm.
You want to like it, you know, and when you got a bummer CD, you were out $12,
Right.
and all you got is a coaster.
Well, or you could take it to the exchange, get like $3 back, and then just
buy another CD that you hope is still awesome. But back then, we like looked through the entire album, picked it apart, and we like listened to it front to back,
right,
over and over again. Then we picked out the songs we'd want to and skipped to those.
right.
Like now, it seems like when you get to hear it digitally, you don't give it like it doesn't grow on you anymore. You're just like, that's a bummer. That's a bummer. I wonder if that has anything to do with it.
I mean, I think that's probably a good point. I mean, just considering that.
I'm not blaming the listener. I'm blaming them for sure. Like,
right.
They should play the stuff that got the people there to begin with.
But what about this too? Is that when they were coming out with new albums and we were going to see the shows, we liked the last 3 or 4 albums that come out, and that's what they're hitting off of. But
true.
now they're at that 4th album, past of what album we liked, and so they're still doing the same remedy, except for it's
like,
just
there's no self-awareness to like, maybe those were kind of a bummer albums that we put out.
And the thing is too is that he sings a lot different now. I mean, he's getting older, so he's not doing as much screaming. But I think that if you're going to be a professional lead singer, you're keeping your voice. And he's
also one of those guys that's like, I wake up every day and do yoga, and I eat vegan, and I don't do drugs or drink.
Right.
You know, like you out of anybody. I just saw Joe Walsh and Tom Petty, and those bastards sing their hearts out.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they've done nothing but coke and heroin for the last 40 years.
Right. And the thing is, too, is that, like, we ordered, like, a PBR, which in the 16-ounce cans, and they just put a plastic cup on top of the can and then flipped it over.
Isn't that annoying?
Yeah.
They did that at the Agora for at the drive-in.
I was told the same thing, and,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, and what I, in theory, that the bands are requesting that. They're saying, I don't want any cans or bottles.
No, it's because like these shows get rowdy and we.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But I've been to
You-
House of Blues like just a couple months ago, and we were still having beer cans to walk
Really?
around with. Yeah, just like a month or so ago. And
Yeah.
then I got to AFI last week, and it's plastic cups. So we're thinking, and even maybe at the driving, because I know that was at the Agora, that certain bands are like only plastic cups because I don't want people throwing cans up here. Obviously, they're not allowed bottles,
Right.
but
Well, I'm
And I could be
kind of
wrong.
used
I
to
don't
the
know.
plastic cans or plastic cups because I just assumed it was. But the way that they pour it, and there's so many people that they're dealing with that they just dump it pretty much, and then like you don't even get 3/4 of the beer, you get a whole lot of foam, and then they throw the rest away, and it's like that was a bummer for me too, especially as expensive as they were.
right.
But that was at the Agora.
Yeah.
I don't like the House of Blues.
See, a lot of people say that,
I
but it
don't
really
like it at
doesn't
all.
bother me at all. Like, what's your take on it? Why don't you like it?
Well, it just seems like the Walmart of concert venues because it is a chain.
Well, it is.
And they
It's Dan
yeah.
Aykroyd, so
Yeah.
I mean, it's of course it's a copy
Is it
and
Dan
paste.
Aykroyd's?
Yeah.
He's a crazy dude.
Yeah, House of Blues, Blues Brothers,
Do
man.
they promote that Crystal Skull vodka
I'm
that
pretty
he sells?
sure I've seen it behind the
Really?
bar. I don't know if they still do, but I know I've definitely seen it behind the bar when that lease first
He's
came
got
out.
like all the crazy alien beliefs. I
Yeah.
like him. He's an interesting character.
yeah, me too.
But the House of Blues, it's like a chain, and when you take like a chain like that and you make it, you round off the corners and you make it play school and you make it friendly and it can go into every city. It just seems like it doesn't work as well. The Agora's got like a lot of character and a little bit more of dirt and grime to it, Like out of the
No.
I had this conversation when we were at the Agora because I really enjoy it, but also I grew up with it too. you
Yeah,
know?
exactly. Same. And I mean, it feels weird being at the Agora with the changes that they made because the front
Yeah.
door now is where all the merch
Yeah.
tables were.
That's
Like,
where the merch
walk down
tables were,
you-
or if it was a sold out show, that's where you showed up like the day of to buy a ticket. Like you could still get like a ticket only
that
on the
side,
day of.
that side
where they
door,
have that overhang,
right? And that
Yeah.
side door is like now just a wall there, and they basically have like vending machines like blocking. Like,
But
what
they
was
have
there.
that outside smoking section,
Right, which didn't exist when
No, because
when
we just smoked cigarettes
That's right, we
inside.
were allowed
It
to
was
smoke
awesome.
inside. Yeah, that's
Those
right. I
were great
forgot.
days.
Yeah, and they did in the ballroom in the ballroom. That's the smaller one, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, because the theater's the bigger one. So yeah, in the ballroom, when you would first walk in, you were able to walk on both sides, being on an upper level of the floor, and they've cut that on at least the one side. There's more floor space, but it just feels weird because you're way over now.
Yeah.
But you're not up as high, so like.
I wonder. I think it's because like fire codes. After like Great White burned up, then everybody started getting a little more conscious of this is chaotic.
Right, and don't get me wrong, like I love the old grimy venues, like the
Yeah.
Agora and Euclid Tavern and.
You like Odeon and
Right, I still haven't been to a show at the Odeon since it's reopened, but
yeah.
I mean,
neither have
I can still picture it to this day, like its exact layout, like unless they've changed anything, everything based in my memory.
What's the one in on the east side?
Grog Shop?
Yeah, Grog Shop.
Oh yeah.
That's
Grog
always
Shop's
fun.
still good, and that's little and grimy. Like when you
Yeah.
have those bathrooms that are like disgusting and drawings and shit
Yeah.
all over the wall. Yeah, and the Grog Shop is small. It's good when you have like
It serves its purpose.
Right, exactly. I've played plenty of shows there.
Yeah.
It's.
Did you play at the Pirates Cove?
I've played at Pirates Cove.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
That's
always
Peabody's.
nice.
That was the old Peabody's,
Peabody's
right?
Pirates Cove. Yeah.
Yeah. I played all three of those like venues inside Peabody's. Yeah.
Everybody is like a lot of people seem like they're happy it's gone, but I liked it for some reason.
Well, it's technically. Well, yeah. I mean, it's now
Yeah.
Peabody's down under the Agora or whatever.
Right.
They've combined their powers.
But the old venue, Cleveland
venue
State
itself,
mowed
right.
it down and put
Yeah.
buildings up.
Yeah, I mean, it was good to just go to a show and then go and get a slice of pizza at Rascals afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That was my AFI experience. I was pretty upset, dude, when we left.
So,
But
and did you hear anything about At the Drive-In?
no, which was actually going. Well, yes, actually, I did hear it was a really good show.
It was awesome.
That's where I was getting my next question to see how was your experience
Dude,
compared to mine.
I drug my feet on buying tickets, and I don't know why. I love At the Drive-In. I love most things that those guys do, but I'm just old, and it's hard to get me out of the house anymore. But I bought the tickets, and we went with my brother and his girlfriend, and when I bought the tickets, the last time I saw them, I was 17 years old, and I'm 34 now.
Oh wow,
that was half my life ago.
Yeah,
and it was at the Agora.
Wow.
The last time they played, I think it was 2000, and it was at the Agora, and so that's like a pretty big deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's
that's
just
pretty
like
huge.
You go full circle, and I'm like, I'll see you guys again when I'm in my 50s. But
and they isn't At the Drive-In. They're a combination of two bands, right? It wasn't like
no, they were at the
Sparta.
Drive-In first, and
then they split off into like Sparta and someone else.
I was just talking about this last night. Sparta, and it's a huge band everybody loves.
Right.
I saw them.
Mars Volta?
Mars Volta.
Yeah,
I saw
that's
them
right.
like 3 or 4 times. I only saw it at the Drive-In once. But they played a couple of new songs or songs I didn't know I assumed were new. I got the new album, and because we didn't buy a CD and we didn't sift through it, like I just haven't dedicated myself to it.
Right.
But I loved every minute of the show.
See, that's awesome. That's good.
Yeah, La Butcherettes opened, and
Right.
like we talked about, they sounded awesome, and I'll look into them more. But
And that
I
was your
spent
first
most of that time in the alleyway smoking, or like in line buying more beers that they put in a plastic cup for
right.
me. But that was the show was awesome. Like
Was it in theater or in the ballroom?
in the theater.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and I think it
probably a
was
big
sold
show,
out. It was a
yeah.
big deal.
Yeah.
It's funny because the last couple of I went to what is it? Oh, Rage Against the Machine does Prophets of Rage.
Right.
So it's got Chuck D and Be Real in it instead of Zach Taylor Rocha, and it seemed like both these shows it like brought like the old angry, ugly 30-something curmudgeons out of the house.
Right.
It was,
yeah, for sure.
yeah. So that was kind of funny to see, and it was like at the Drive-In before. I bet you it was like 60-40 men to women. This time it was like 80-20, maybe 85-15. Like it was just all dudes.
You know what I don't love though still is like going to a show like I mean like there's a lot of times that I'll give in with depending on like what crowd I'm with, who I'm hanging out with, and like are like, oh yeah, let's get down to the front, let's get mixed in the
Yeah.
crowd, we're gonna dance and mosh and stuff, and like that's fun and stuff still, but there's a lot of times that like I've missed a lot of shows because I've been dancing around and moshing and shit, and like
Yeah.
now I'm at the time where I'm like I wanna have a beer and I wanna actually
Yeah,
watch
yeah.
the show. I'm like, and I remember being fucking 17, 18 years old and moshing around. I'd smash into a dude and like that's probably in his 30s, and the beer spills everywhere, and I'm like, oh sorry dude, and he's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I mean, what is he gonna do? He's either gonna beat the
Right.
shit out of a 17-year-old kid. He can't buy him beer, like you just fucking suck it up. But now I'm that 30-something that's like sitting in the back trying to watch watch
exactly.
a show and drink my beer, and I'm going, if any of you cunts fucking knock this beer out of my hand, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you because
Right.
it's like $16 for like a beer.
That's the most important part, I think, because it like At the Drive-In is an aggressive band, and that's a band people move to, but you could see everybody was a little bit more chill. And I think when we were younger, you felt like you were part of the experience more when you were up front.
Right,
Or
exactly.
being pushed up against a gate.
And I have no regrets into it.
No.
No,
like that was a awesome thing when you're younger. Like you really felt like you were in it with them,
Right.
And now it's
you
like,
walk out of the venue and you're just
I think we can all
sweating.
see from here.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
seems like a safe place to be.
Right.
Also, like, I don't want to be dropped on my head. I would crowd surf when I was younger, or I would be one of the guys smashing into each other.
Right.
And I don't want I just don't have that desire to, push somebody or get pushed back.
Right. And like when you're younger, you walk out of the venue and you're covered in beer and sweat and
you're
spit
dehydrated, you have a
and
headache.
water. Yeah, you're just just a mess.
Right.
Like you're like, I shouldn't even be sitting in these car seats because I'm soaked right now.
Yeah.
But you loved it, and now I'm like, and that's actually part of the reason why I like House of Blues is that I can sit up on top.
Oh, yeah.
And I can actually watch, and I don't have to worry about getting smashed around, beer being spilled, or like, being knocked around. If I have people with me, then I'm like, fuck off, trying to get people to stay away, whatever it is. And like I said, I still like going out into the crowd, here and there. But there's some shows that I'm like, I don't want to. Like, that's kind of how I was for AFI. Like, normally the last handful of shows that I've gone to and the people I've gone with, we've gotten mixed up into the crowd, the masked intruder and all that. But this show, I was kind of like, I just want to watch.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. Like, there wasn't like we were like down in the floor, but still a little bit in the outsides, And it's just, I don't know. That's what I wanted to do for this show, which was great. And what's funny is that I had this dude that was behind me screaming out old AFI songs, like Totally Immortal and all that shit. He was on my boat. So, like, when we were cracking jokes, like, we're, like, high-fiving, like, this is funny. Compared to, like, there's all these younger kids that are around us, like, who the fuck are these old fucks? Like, you guys are ruining the show for us.
Yeah. It was, I wasn't never a huge AFI fan, so I probably wouldn't go see them now, but I saw them quite a few times, when I was younger. Like, but at the drive-in was like, this is awesome. I can't believe I second guessed coming to this. I wouldn't want to miss it for anything. It was a really great time.
Yeah, I've after that show, I've decided that I'm never gonna see AFI again unless they're doing one of those like, oh, we're doing playing Black Sails in its entirety or something along those lines. Then I'd be like, all right, fuck yeah, then I'll go. But if it's just like, oh, AFI's coming to Cleveland, I'm like, no, I'm over it. I've done it.
Right.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I've seen AFI like 30 times, but I haven't seen them in a really long time. So I was like, man, I used to love going to AFI shows.
Yeah.
So
where do you stand on like festivals?
I don't know. I guess it kind of depends.
Yeah.
I mean, what are we talking? I mean, I'm not into that like EDR shit.
What is
like,
EDR?
Isn't that like the electronic like
EDM?
dance? Like, oh yeah, EDM. Yeah. See, that's how much I love it that I don't even get the letters correctly.
Either. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you call it electronic dance music?
I think I was mixing EDM and DDR, so it's like electronic dance revolution.
Yeah.
I think that's where I was kind of mixing everything up here.
Yeah, I'm not into that either.
Yeah.
Unless it's something like, unique.
Right.
But like festivals, have you gone to any festivals?
Does the Corn Fest count?
Corn Fest in North Ridgeville.
No, I don't think
I always call the Porn Fest, and then I get there and I act like I'm disappointed. Like, what's with all the corn? I thought there was going to be porn.
No, as far as actual festivals go, I haven't got to really go to any, and like I know there's like, and are we talking kind of like along the lines of like a Riot Fest and stuff like that? Okay, no, I haven't got to like do like any of those things before. Mm-hmm. So I've always missed out. Even like the South by Southwest sounds really fucking cool, and I have friends that go every year, and I miss out on.
I think we missed like I think the bubble burst there. I think it's like South by Southwest is like gonna be over with soon.
Okay.
It just seems like it's too cool now and it's over with.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that. Maybe I'm just trying to justify not going, but
right.
I've been to Bonnaroo and Pitchfork.
Explain, what are those?
And I won't. I don't do the camping ones anymore, especially
like Burning Man.
No, did I say Bonnaroo? Bonnaroo is in Tennessee. It's out in the middle of nowhere in Tennessee.
Okay, so what's this festival consist of?
It's like all the festivals. I think it's like kind of like Coachella or whatever. There's a huge campground, and it's mayhem, and it had a huge following with like deadheads and people who are into fish and stuff like that, which is not me at all. But when we went, we didn't know what we were getting ourselves into. So like they have like, it's farm country. It's just land. and then they cut it in half and they say these are for your tents and cars. Then the other half is for like the venue, like stages all over. And they have cool stuff. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm probably painting a bad picture of it, but we were just ill prepared.
Right.
In the tent, like where you tent, you have your car and then you put your tent behind the car, and everybody's car and tent are right next to each other. That's no fun. It's not like you can stretch out and you're camping.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's like tents on top of tents as far as the eye can see. And it's Tennessee, and it's August or whatever, July, and it's 1,000 degrees and humid. And you're doing nothing but drinking and partying and people running around selling drugs and selling fake drugs. And it's so you're never like hydrated. You never feel like, I never took time to like, I should probably drink a bottle of water, you know?
Right.
So you're always like kind of sick the entire time. But I also got to see like that year, like the big bands were Radiohead and Tom Petty played. And like I got to see a lot of rap groups I really enjoy. I saw Common and Talib Kweli and Mos Def and like
Okay.
I think the Roots played, and this was like 2007 or something.
Right. Yeah. These sound like they were
Yeah.
a little back.
But in like a bunch of indie bands, and it starts at like 1 o'clock with some crappy bands, and by like 3 o'clock there's some bigger bands, and then by 4 o'clock,
And then you're trying to stay conscious enough to see ICP.
Yeah. They like it's kind of cool because you're at your campsite and you're cooking breakfast or whatever, and then you hear like a band tuning, and you're like, all right, we better eat and go down there, you know. So that's kind of neat.
Yeah.
And they also had like silent disco, which was like you put on the Bluetooth headphones, and that was the first time I seen anything like that. They had a comedy tent.
Explain the
silent disco.
Yeah.
This is so 2007, but they gave you like Bluetooth headphones. And they had like a famous DJ, and we saw a couple, like we saw Kid Koala and a couple big DJs that were actual DJs, not like
Cool.
the EDM, not like the EDR.
EDR.
But they were actually like good DJs.
Was DJ Cool there?
No.
He's the guy that goes, let me clear my throat.
Oh, I like that.
Do you remember that song?
No.
Oh my God. All right. That was the 90s. All right. That was a really shitty joke.
I don't remember that at all.
Okay.
Now I'm not gonna forget it. I'm not happy with you about that.
I'm gonna show you this song like later on, dude. If you hear this song, you know what I'm talking about. I know you have to, but
I'm
okay.
sure.
All right.
So the silent disco, and you all put on. What you see is when you walk up to it, it just looks like a whole bunch of weirdos freaking out with headphones on, and you see like the big DJ booth, you know, and then like they give you headphones and you get in. And you're like dancing to the music, but it's only playing through the headphones.
So anybody walking by, they can't hear what you're actually doing.
And this was like wireless equipment just came out, and it never really worked. And we were there, and we were like, "Holy shit, this is kind of crazy."
This was the EDR,
so you're
dude.
dancing and having fun to the EDR music, and then you take the headphones off and you look around and you're like, "These people are strange," and then you realize you're one of those people. So that was kind of neat. And they had a comedy tent, like I saw Patton Oswalt, and
Cool.
you know, like I forget, there was a bunch of comedians there. But the craziest thing for me was you had to get in. There's no showers, and it's like 3 nights, I think, 4 days. There's no showers. You're stuck there because it's car to car to tent to car to tent to car. You know, you're stuck there. You're not leaving. There's no showers. You had to pay if you wanted to take a shower, and it was like pricey. And it was an outdoor shower where it just like misted on you. They also had like a big sculpture of like these crazy mushrooms because it used to have like a like Deadhead following.
Right.
These crazy mushrooms, and the first night is just spraying like this crystal clear water, and people are dancing in it. Like by the second night, it was just like mud and hippie filth, and it was just disgusting. Like the first night, I would have like splashed around my little tootsies in there.
Right.
Not second night.
No,
that's disgusting. And
catch
I'm
something.
a dirty dude. Like that's what blew my mind was like. Now I'm just part of the spectrum of dirt because there's people there that make me look like a clean, handsome, well-being person.
Right.
These people were insane, and they were
too
like
dirty for
there
you.
was like old people there. So the grossest part for me was that there's a long line of porta potties, and just like that mushroom fountain, there was real mushroom fountains happening at the porta potties. And the first night, everything was okay. Nobody
Right.
likes using a porta potty. The second night, it was a bloodbath. It was
Dude.
disgusting. But
So people, they probably don't come in and change out the porta potties or suck out the
No.
shit out of them.
no.
Oh man, it's
And-
just 3 days of just
Imagine waking up.
diarrhea and period blood and piss and all the worst things.
Yeah. And all the people, like, everybody wakes up pretty much at the same time.
Right.
Kind of, you're
Sun's
so close to
roasting
everybody that everybody's so loud. Then you got to go stand in line to use the bathroom. After you're hungover, you're dehydrated, you're tired, nobody smells good.
No.
And you got to go stand in the Tennessee sun to use a porta potty that's just
God,
destroyed.
that sounds terrible.
The worst part about it was I call this lady side boob because I've told this story before. This lady must have been at the first Bonnaroo, and she was like that deadhead following, and she must have been like 55 years old, and she has her old man with her, and they're in line in front of me, and I'm like, what is this? Like, they brought like a bag of toiletries. It was just like a Walmart shopping bag, and they had jugs with them, and I was like, what the fuck? So they get up to it, she pulls the door open, holds it open with her leg, and just starts pouring this jug that they cut the top off into the porta potty. So they they don't go to the porta potty, they just use these milk jugs at their tent, and they had like
Shit.
in the bag was toilet paper and shit.
Oh, gross.
And I never forget, like, just being tired and hungover and sweaty, and my eyes just got huge. Like, my eyebrows almost shot off of my face because I'm watching this bitch hold it open and just plump, 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 plump,
Jug full of piss.
yeah, and then like empty out their Walmart bag
Oh.
of shit and toilet paper,
Ew.
and I'm like, oh, that's so
Dude,
disgusting.
I'm kind of gagging a little bit
Yeah.
just thinking about
And
it.
She was wearing a T-shirt that she cut the sleeves off of, but she cut the sleeves off of so that you could see her side boob, and it was just
yeah.
like a road map of gross veins and flaps. Oh my god! Like, there's a lot to be said about the hippies and the counterculture. Like we romanticize that period, but I
No.
saw it firsthand.
Yeah.
Like 30 years later, and it is not okay. But that was my experience at Bonnaroo. You got to see like bands that you never thought you'd see together. You know what I mean?
I think the closest thing I've been to is just, being. Yeah, actually, I don't have anything. I mean, like Warped Tour, just being at like one all day thing. But like, I've had lots of friends being like, "Oh, there's this thing we can go to, and we camp there for a couple of days.
Right.
And there's bands that play all day long, all 3 days."
Yeah.
But I've never actually ended up going there.
I think as adult and knowing like what I know now, it would be more fun because I would prepare. We would bring like a canopy tent, so you had some shade at the campsite, and I would like not just drink all day long and then expect the next day to go swimmingly.
I mean, like friends and we've definitely contemplated going to like the Juggalo festival.
That would just because that would be the funniest shit
Just
ever.
because, yeah. Because have you seen that documentary?
Yeah.
It's only like a half hour long, but it's fucking.
Yeah.
It's a masterpiece.
I watched it on YouTube.
Those
Is that the only
people-
place it's published?
Well, I saw it on Vimeo, so if
Okay,
YouTube's got it blurred, you could see all the gross boobs on Vimeo.
I'm good.
So if you need to go, you guys listening, you can go onto Vimeo. I think it's called American Juggalo, if I'm not mistaken. And it's like a half hour of
Nightmares.
sweaty, disgusting, drugged out, wasted people, dirty, floppy titties.
Yeah.
I mean, everything that you're wishing and hoping for in an actual Juggalo fest,
Yeah.
I would expect. I mean, I just wanted to go just to people watch, and just kind of.
It's an experience that
Right.
like I wouldn't mind seeing.
And I don't listen to ICP,
No.
so I think they would probably call me out. They'd be like, "Yo, this dude's
Oh,
a
we got a
phony." They'd
poser.
string me up, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd have to I'd probably try to go buy some ICP shirts, but then throw them in the dirt and rip some holes in them so they seem old. You know,
that would make you even more of a poser.
I'd have to put my hair into the little dread things, just so I fit in. But I just want to go and observe and like videotape and be like,
sounds
dude,
like a nightmare.
dude. I'm not dropping acid with these crazy clown billies.
We went the one in Chicago. We went to, what was it? Pitchfork, and that was a lot better. It's more of an indie rock festival, but there's a lot of hip hop and stuff like that, and that was better because you got back on the train and you went back to your hotel room and you took a shower and it wasn't like part of the experience.
Right.
Like Bonnaroo was like you were camping was part of the experience,
Mm-hmm.
And there's not enough drugs to make the dirt and grime and everything go away.
Right.
So I don't know. I'm done with it, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. Depending on what it is. And dude, I'm a
now
person
it's so
that-
different. Like now you have Coachella, and there's a thing called Coachella wear, and they just pay celebrities to go and wear like their fake version of festival clothing. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
That's what I think South by Southwest
Everything's
is
just
turning
so
into.
exploited now.
Yeah.
It's not as like genuine as
Like
when-
Burning Man interests me the most. It's not really a music festival, but it's just freaks in a desert,
Oh yeah.
And I think that like I might have missed that one too.
Did I ever tell you about the girl that I met that it was a buddy of mine. He was dating this girl for a little while, and they were like in town, and I was like asking him like, I was like, oh, like how's like your trip doing? Because they were like going around to, like different cities around to the U.S. and doing like some photography shit and shit like that. And I was like, oh yeah, like what's been going on? Like what have you guys been up to? And the one girl, she's like, oh yeah, she's like, we did Burning Man just like a few weeks ago. It was amazing. She's like, I go every year. And she's like, have you ever been to Burning Man? And I'm like, no. She's like, do you know what it is? And I was like, well, yeah, I've seen videos. I mean, people camping out like in the desert, and you guys have a giant man, and you burn it. Got it. And,
you buried the lead.
Right. And then so she's like, no, it's just so awesome because like everyone's like hanging out and we're drinking, we can do drugs, and like everyone just loves each other. And I was like, yeah, I mean, that seems cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not really for me because I don't do drugs, I would be drinking beer all day long, but doing that for 3 days in the hot sun and like, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's gonna be nice to see like boobs, here and there. I'm sure actually being there watching this Burning Man thing actually happen is probably fucking cool.
Or being a part of the experience, I
Right.
imagine would be fun.
But then I got to a point where I was like, yeah, that's cool, because she just kept going on about like everyone just loves each other and like we like drop acid together, and I'm like, yeah, this isn't for me.
No,
I don't.
you let me know when there's a festival where I can do drugs and hate everybody.
Yeah.
Because that's what I like the most.
Yeah.
I'm a drug friendly person, but I don't want to love everybody.
Right. And so then she starts going. She's like, no, you know what's really cool though? They have a Thunderdome. And I go,
Yeah.
whoa, hold on. A Thunderdome? She's like, yeah. I was like in Mad Max? She goes, exactly.
Oh, she hooked you.
And I was like, go on. Okay, you have me at this Thunderdome. And she's like, yeah, it's really cool. She's like, if people started, getting riled up and they started getting into a fight, people yank them up and they call them to the Thunderdome. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So you mean to tell me when there's a scrap happening, you get two people in this Thunderdome and you let them fight each other? And she's like, yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, they even wear like the harness and people are up there and they will yank you up like
Yeah.
they do in the movies and shit. I was like, this is amazing. I was like, okay, now I think I want to come to Burning Man.
Yeah.
And I was like, so they actually you just let them fucking beat the shit out of each other? And she's like, well, they give them like foam swords and like and this and that. And I go, hold on. Well, they're not actually like fist fighting anymore? And she's like, well, no. They give them like foam swords and things like that
now
to
you're
beat
out.
each other. I go, fuck Burning Man. Never going there.
It's
sounds
so
like,
funny.
It sounds so shitty to me.
She's promoting this like utopia of love and mind expansion and all. You know what I mean?
Right.
And she didn't get your attention until they were like,
I know where
oh,
you're
we
going
put
with
people
this.
in a coliseum. But then it's a fake coliseum, so you're like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm listening.
Right.
Fuck you again.
Yeah, no, that's really how it went. And then she started getting really mad at me, like seriously pissed off at me that like I was just like, no, it sounds dumb. This is bullshit. This is fake. This Burning Man sounds
like,
dumb.
I would love to experience it. I would enjoy that, especially because there's like Elon Musk and like all these millionaires that dedicate a lot of money and a lot of time to like these recreations of things there.
Right.
Like it's all built up to be temporary and to be like this thing. I would like to experience that, but I have a feeling just like at Bonnaroo, like I would get there and I'd be like, oh, fuck these people.
Right.
Like, oh yeah. Like you go there to forget your problems and I'm like, I'm a curmudgeon. I'm just a negative nihilist. Like it would not work for me. It would just be me versus all of them.
Right. And like, don't get me wrong. I'm with you. It would be cool to experience, but for a day.
Yeah.
Like I want to show up there at like 1 o'clock on a Saturday and then party all day Saturday. We burn the man. And then I sleep in a tent, and then I go home Sunday.
Have you ever heard of the Bilderberg group?
Build-A-Bear?
Bilderberg?
No.
It's so Burning Man is just hippie Bilderberg. Now the Bilderberg group is like all these millionaires and billionaires that meet in the woods. They do this crazy ritual. They go through all this like nonsense hoopla. They're not supposed to talk business, and they wear robes and I think
is this Jonestown we're talking
House
about?
of Cards like did a their version of Bilderberg like featured in one of the episodes.
Okay.
But they go there and then they take this big owl effigy and they light it on fire. It's in front of this lake and it's like this big amphitheater type thing and people. It's the creepiest shit ever, right? Mm-hmm. Burning Man is just like hippie white people's version of the like millionaires Bilderberg. You know what I mean? It's just
Okay.
like so polar opposites, but they have so much in common at the same time. There's like all this fake effigy, fake imagery, like nonsense and pomp and circumstance, and then like, but they're the two spectrums. So it's like dirty hippies and then like millionaire assholes. You know, people, the movers and shakers of the world. Yeah.
Right.
It's just like putting that together right now. I'm like, oh shit.
No, I never heard of that.
Yeah.
So was the Burning Man was first though? I take it, right? And then,
I don't know because
know?
Bilderberg is like a like weird Mason conspiracy
Kinda
thing.
culty?
Very culty.
Okay.
And it's on the East Coast, and Burning Man is on the West Coast. And Burning Man seems like such a West Coast like wealthy white person thing to do. You know what I mean? Like you're like. That's why I don't think I'd like it. I'm very East Coast in that I'm angry and cynical. Mm-hmm. You have to be like that flighty West Coast. Everything is fine, man.
Right.
Type person for that to be okay. I'm not that dude. I
Right.
fucking hate those dudes.
Right, yeah. I'm with you there. Yeah. Oh man, fucking festivals. I don't know. We'll see sometime down in the future. If there's something that intrigues me, you know, and depending what kind of, I think it all depends what kind of people I'm with too.
Yeah.
If I have fun people and like, all right,
Yeah.
I'll do that.
Yeah.
You know.
Now like I think I would enjoy Bonnaroo more now knowing that I experienced one and what to prepare for. But
Right.
like I didn't know to bring a milk jug.
Yeah. Milk
I
jug
could've
is
just
essential.
Pissed and shit in that.
Well, you should have 2 milk jugs, one to pee in and one to poop in.
Yeah.
Or if you don't have milk jugs, just bring a pot.
Yeah.
You know? You can go to Goodwill and get a couple of pots for like
I
a
always
quarter
say,
a piece.
I ain't got a pot to piss in or a cup to drink it with.
Oh man, how was your weekend?
It was crazy, but it was a good time.
Yeah, anything fun come out?
I went to the fun part is I went to an Indians game
Okay.
and
Did we win? I usually not pay
no,
attention
we
to
ate
sports.
a big bag of dicks.
Oh.
But it was $2 beer night, and
So you won.
I won
Yeah.
definitely. And, I mean,
You really won.
I was out $24, but I won. And it was also dollar hot dogs.
Oh yeah. See, $2 beers and dollar dogs on it. That's my favorite.
The energy in it though was like you ever hear people talk about like the nickel beer night in Cleveland when
like
they
a
couldn't
long
get
time
fancy.
ago.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
that's what it felt like.
Okay.
$2 beers felt like nickel beer.
Except
like
for
this can get out
minus
of
like
hand.
the riot.
Well, yeah, they're smart and they cut it off at like 7 in the. They cut it off at 7. The game starts at 7, and then it goes back to like $8 beers.
Okay.
But it was hilarious just watching people hoard beers, and I'm guilty of it too.
Oh, yeah, you
go
have
and
to.
get as many, and then you go to your. We had the bar seats, so it's standing the entire time.
yeah.
And you just have them all splayed out in front of you, and they keep sending people by to pick up the empties because it looks bad on TV when the
Right.
camera pans over, and you just have us with a pyramid and falling
There's
over.
40
you know?
beers across
Yeah.
between like 4.
I didn't watch much of the game at all, Tony.
Yeah.
No.
Well, when it's $2 beer and $1 dog night, and if we were losing, I've done that. I've gone to an Indians game and we started getting really drunk and we're losing. We just start paying less attention to the game and more focusing on.
I'm not a huge sports guy, anyways.
Yeah, I'm not either. I mean, I loved support for all Cleveland teams.
Sure.
You know, but it comes down to actually watching the games. It is more fun to go to the games as opposed to sitting in the bar. But I'm, you know, once it's down to like the finals and shit like that and the playoffs, like that's the time.
Yeah, wake me up then.
That's when I get more involved in, you know, and even then I'm still not like
All in.
balls to the wall, but
Yeah.
I go for more of a social thing. Like my friends are like, we're going to the bar to watch, you know, the playoffs, you know, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to come drink beer and be social with my friends, you know.
And that's the thing, like, for me, like, because I talked about being that cynical East Coast dude, I'm like, it seems like, oh, wait, you want me to pay a bunch of money to go somewhere to cheer on a bunch of millionaires that are playing a fucking game? And, like, baseball has a crazy schedule, right? Isn't there, like, 80 games a year?
Yeah, there's 1,000 games.
You work fucking 80 times, you know?
Right.
For 4 hours at a pop. Like, none of you are showing up paying money to watch me at work. Like, I start thinking like that. And I'm like,
Right.
fuck you. These are a bunch of one percenters. These are all the people that I fucking hate anywhere else.
But they're also, I mean,
You
you can
not
look at
only-
them as entertainers.
yeah, entertainers. That's great. How about they do something, create something on their own, and then I'll watch that.
I didn't
Then
say
I'll watch
creative.
that, and I'll, you know,
Right.
no, what they're doing is they're playing a fucking game.
Right.
I played a fucking game when I was a kid. Nobody gave a shit, right? And it doesn't matter if it's good or bad, but it seems like they tricked us into showing up, especially Clevelanders. I feel the worst for, because they trick us into showing up. You know, like we're a bunch of blue collar guys. It's a steel mill town,
Right.
so and their one love is these sports. So they trick us into showing up. We spend money to get in. We spend a crazy amount of money on the beer, and then we're paying to watch a bunch of millionaires
Right.
play a game.
I mean, when you break it down like that, that is really
Yeah.
funny to think about.
But that's like that's how cynical I am. That's why I can't enjoy these things. It's
Right.
like, no, I'd way rather watch like any other
Like
sporting
a bum
event.
shit in his hands and throw it.
And I'd way rather watch a old lady with her tit hanging out of her shirt, dumping her poop jug, dumping her poop jug.
Right.
No, I always think about that. That's I can't enjoy myself at these things. And I know you're gonna say the same thing. Like at the drive-in, those are all wealthy guys up there, and I paid money to see them.
Right.
So I know I'm a hypocrite.
Well,
I also know
mean-
I don't like myself either. I hate those fucking guys, right? Don't think that I like me. I can't stand me.
Well, I mean, we got to think of it this way too. The way that music works for us and makes us feel, and that's why we're going to shows, is that there's those sports dudes,
Right.
that makes them feel the same way. You know, like for us, sports is kind of whatever. It's there. It's nice for a filler, but music is more what we're into. And then
Right.
those dudes, music's nice. It's a good filler. I like, you know, whenever they need it. But they're like, fuck yeah, it's
Yeah.
time for baseball, basketball, football,
Well, the problem
whatever.
is that like I've seen At the Drive-In once in 17 years. These people watch a game, you know, most days of the week.
Right. Yeah.
And like and I think there's a message. They're creating something new. This is like a game that's always existed that genetically they're already like predispositioned for. They put in a lot of work, and I get that. And I like this is such a dumb sentence, but I was going to say I like athletics, which sounds like the least that sounds like the one sentence the least athletic person would ever say, you know what I mean?
yeah.
But it's I like athletics. But it's just like it's tricky to think like, oh, they lured us in with $2 beers, which $2 beers at
That is how they
the
get
baseball field feels like a win, but you can get $2 beers at most bars.
Yeah, actually, there's been a lot of times that me and some
$2
buddies.
beers at Progressive Field is like having nickel beers at the Richland.
Right.
You know?
There's been a bunch of times that we're like, all right, let's go downtown. We're gonna go to the Indians game today, and let's stop at this bar that we know, like, it's a little gem. I don't want to drop this name because not a lot of people go there. So every time I go there, it's nice and empty, but it's cheap as fuck for drinks. And so we start getting there and getting fucking lit up. And then like, all right, it's about time to go to the game. It's going to start soon. We should, finish these up. And then it takes one person to be like, let's do a shot.
Yeah.
And then we're still halfway through the beer. And then we go out
Yeah.
for a cigarette. And then we come back in. And then the game has started. And next thing you know, it's like 5th inning. We're like, there's no point for us to go.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to go pay
I've
X
done
amount of
that.
money just
I've
to
done
go
that
watch,
multiple
a
times.
couple of innings. So we just end up being trash at this bar. But it's a fun bar, and sometimes that's the better night because I'm still paying $2 for a cheap ass beer, like a
Right.
16 ounce, when that's just a rare form,
Right.
at the actual game.
That's I've done that multiple times where, especially when we sucked and you can get tickets, like scalp tickets for $10.
Right.
Then you end up at a bar and all of a sudden the second inning flies by, or you realize like watching it on a TV, you can see way more than if you watch it in real life.
Yeah, sometimes your seats suck so bad that you're
you're like-
missing out on a lot where.
They're like, I don't think they have potato skins there. They have potato skins here. We should probably stay here.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've done like we've bought like the cheapest tickets, like $8 tickets or whatever, and those are like nosebleeds, like at the full peak of the stadium.
Right.
And then we just dick around, just walking around and hanging
Yeah.
out in whatever sections we want to, because we're like, well, fuck all on being all the way up there.
Yeah.
And it's
And
like,
my girlfriend is like super into Cleveland sports, but especially the Indians.
Mm-hmm.
And I could take it or leave it. And I go to the game with her, and she complains like, I'm gone the majority of it. I'll just walk around and just like buy beers and go outside and smoke. It's not a good. It's just not for me. I'll go there and I won't complain, but it's just not for me.
yeah, I'm the same way. I mean, the thing is that I like hockey best.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up, I've did like the rollerblading hockey, and
Me too.
playing hockey games, as a kid. And I just love that thrill of just fucking being able just to beat the shit out of each other at
Yeah.
whatever mishap. It's so enjoyable to watch, that no other sports,
Right.
like at least, regular sports lets you do that shit,
Right.
So like, it's enjoyable to be like, oh yeah, I can watch this hockey game. It's fast paced, pucks fucking flying around
Yeah.
everywhere. Where baseball games can take a really long
Yeah.
time, and you get other ones like in basketball. There's constant timeouts and commercials and shit. Yeah. And I get shit for it from my friends a lot, anyways. But
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck.
Me
like,
too.
I'd rather like go at a hockey game than anything else.
I like basketball. I find it fun, but it's because it's that fast paced.
Right.
And I like it, but also like I can like tune into it and tune out of it just
Right,
as
I'm the
fast.
same way. When you're actually at the basketball
It's a lot of
game,
fun.
yeah, it is. It's way more fun. But when you're like sitting at the bar at home, it does feel like it takes a little bit. I mean, you're
Yeah.
right. It's still fast paced going, from hoop to hoop.
Right.
But I feel like there's always, it's like you get 30 seconds here, 45 seconds there, and then it's cutting to a commercial because they
Yeah.
have to call this and they have to call that. So when you're at home or at the bar, you're either sitting on the couch with your dick in your hand waiting for the commercial to be over,
Right.
or at least if you're at the bar, you can socialize with your buddies,
Yeah.
go have a smoke or whatever until the game's back on. But actually being at the game is way more fun because you're kind of, there's shit, you're actually seeing what's going on,
Yeah.
kind of behind the scenes, so to speak.
I don't, and it's an unpopular thing, and everyone will get mad, but I fucking hate football. Like I can't watch football at all. It's
I'm not big on football
insufferable.
at all either.
Really?
Yeah, no, not at all.
I
go
and
out with
I
my
don't
friends to
care.
the bar on Sundays. I go tailgating with them. I give two shits in a
It
fuck
seems
about
like the
it, but
yeah. It just seems like it's slow. Like everything is like stop, start, stop, start, stop, start. It's come on. And on top of that, like it just seems like a silly, like event in general. What was it? I forget which one I was. Oh, I was complaining. I was like telling people. And it did not go over well. I was telling people like baseball is not a sport. Baseball is a game.
oh man,
And for some reason that night I decided that was the cross I was going to die on. And I fed myself to the Sharks because I'm like, no, it's not a sport. It's a game.
how intoxicated were you?
Chess isn't a sport. Oh, it doesn't. I just kind of idle at the same thing most times, Tony. But chess is not a sport. Chess is a game. Baseball is a game. And I back this up by saying they cut to the dugout. and this one dum-dum is stuffing his face with power bars. And I'm like, what other sport can you just like eat? Can you imagine a boxing match in between rounds? They go over, the cut guy gives him a power bar. No, he ate 2 fucking power bars when he's sitting there. They're chewing seeds the entire time. They run the bases with a mouthful of either chew or seeds or whatever they have going on.
Yeah.
That's not a fucking sport. And then you see the pitcher's a big fat Dumbo. You know what I mean? Like they waddle the pitcher out there, and he throws a ball, and that's great. He has like one skill. He just throws the ball really well. But the guy can't see his fucking toes. Like half the time the pitchers are just out of shape, sweating. They look like that's the thing. Like that guy's a millionaire. Like, and I'll run around the block as fast as him any day of the week. And so I'm like, no, that baseball's not a sport.
I mean,
and the other thing that pisses me off, you got me going, Tony.
Whoops.
So
Sorry, folks.
Soccer's fun, right? It's fast.
Yeah.
And I'll say the same thing about basketball. This pissed me off too. They're all looking for this foul. They're all looking for a penalty, right? So anytime somebody brushes up against them, they act like they might not be able to walk again ever. Soccer is definitely the worst. Next is basketball. Them looking for that extra foul shot every time they go up.
Right.
It's so
part of their
fucking
tactics.
annoying.
Yeah.
And I say that because I'm a huge MMA fan, and I watch these guys bash each other's heads in, knees to the face over and over again, and they get up and walk around like they're just fine.
Right.
But I see somebody like briskly brush up against somebody in a soccer match,
on their
and
butt.
the guy's laying on the ground grabbing his knee. If you're really that hurt, either you're lying or you're an asshole. Those are your 2 options.
Right.
You're acting like an asshole right now, or you're a liar. That's all you get. So like so it turns out to just hate all fucking sports. Fuck them all. And fuck hockey too. You know what? Screw you and hockey. You know, I'll find something wrong with that.
Might as well.
On ice. Who thought of that? Hey, you know that game that you enjoy? Now let's try to do it on ice.
And that's our sports hour. Thanks for listening.
We're taking your calls right now. Caller 1. Oh, fuck you.
Fuck you, Freddie. Sports rule.
Yeah.
That's good. At least you get to. I mean, it's still. Fun going to the game every once in a while.
Sure. Yeah. It's summertime thing. Like it feels good. To be
It's a
there. You
summertime
know.
thing. Yeah. Let's see. Friday night, I went out to a friend's comedy show, which is really funny.
Where at?
Over at the Winchester, which they reopened up, and it looks really nice inside too, which is great. Like
cool.
it does. It looks really great in there. And it's nice to see, like, when I do hear that he's going to do stand up, I like to go and check him out. And he's actually gone sober, so this was going to be an interesting set to see. But he still fucking killed it. He did a great job. And then there's actually, like, I got to be honest, like, actually, like, the whole set, like, everybody was really great. Like, even, like, how they usually have, like, a host that's kind of, like, introduces all the comedians. Like, that dude did really good. Like, everyone had some really good jokes.
It was a good crowd, huh?
Yeah, like, everyone from front to back. I mean, like, everyone, like, was really funny. So it was a really good set. And then Saturday.
What's his name? Give him a shout out.
Hot Carl. Everybody
Carl.
knows Hot Carl. If you guys don't know who Hot Carl is, you'll see him DJing different bars, karaoke. If you're getting married, call Hot Carl and have him DJ your
And
wedding
if he's
for
doing
ya.
a comedy show, go see it.
Right, and he does comedy, I think, but I don't think he does it like once or twice a year. So
Oh,
that's why
okay.
it's like a rare, for me to go check him out. But he's fucking hilarious. Like, even just hanging out with him is just, he's a ball of fun. So yeah, we did that Friday, and Saturday I was hanging out with my other buddy, and they wanted to go to like a house party out in Valley City. Oh, actually, what's really funny, before I get to that, he was just in like Miami recently. Now, you've seen Chappelle Show, right?
Yeah.
Okay, do you remember the skit, The Three Daves, where Dave Chappelle is talking about how he would handle situations at like 18-year-old Dave and like 24-year-old Dave and like 36-year-old Dave?
Yeah.
Well, there's a part in there where he's talking about being a parent and Nick Cannon's involved.
Yeah.
Okay, I remember when the kid's like, he's like, Daddy, Nick Cannon's hilarious.
Yeah.
And then Dave Chappelle starts going off. He's like, fuck Nick Cannon. Dave Chappelle. It's like, you love him so much, don't you have him go buy your school clothes, you know?
Yeah, why don't you make Nick Cannon your daddy?
Yeah, you know, which is a great fucking skit. So when my dude's out in Miami, he's like doing all this shit, and he's at this show, and he's like right up against the stage, and Nick Cannon's like right here, like right in front of him, right? And then he's like, yo, Nick Cannon, what's up? And he's like, yo, what's up, dude? And my buddy's like, yo, Miami, this is crazy. And Nick Cannon's like, I know, dude, it's fucking nuts, dude, just party it off. And then all of a sudden my dude goes, Nick Cannon's hilarious. And Nick Cannon looks down at him and walks away and pays no more attention to him for the rest of the time that he's up there on stage. That was the funniest thing. And I was like, man, I wish I was standing there next to you, because if you would have did the Nick Cannon's hilarious, I would have been like, fuck Nick Cannon, Dave Chappelle, you know? And just to see what Nick Cannon's reaction would have been to that, you know?
Yeah. The funny thing is, in Dave Chappelle's new special, he's got a segment where like his kid asked him for like, he's like, Dad, I need $250. He's like, for what? He's like, I'm gonna buy a ticket to Kevin Hart. And then he's like, Kevin Hart's charges $250. I gotta get back into this comedy thing. And then he goes through, and then like Kevin Hart, he tells a story about how Kevin Hart made fun of him pretty much, and was like, here's a jersey. He's like, Kevin Hart's so rich, he goes to every city and he has jerseys of that basketball team with his name on the back, and he gives them out to people, and he's like, next time your daddy yells at you, you just put this Kevin Hart jersey on.
Okay, so here's what's really great is somebody was just telling me the same story, but except for instead of being Kevin Hart, it was Kevin, what's the fat white guy that's in like King of Queens?
And he
was
Paul
in,
Blart.
Yeah, Paul Blart. That dude.
Kevin James.
Kevin James.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's who they told me the story was with. So I had a totally different perspective on this story, and now you told me it was actually Kevin Hart.
It's Kevin Hart.
And that makes way more sense.
No, yeah, it's Kevin Hart.
Dave Chappelle and Kevin James.
No, it wasn't Kevin James. But no, that's really funny that he's salty about that.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that was fucking hilarious. Like when he told me that, I was dying.
That's his lack of self-awareness. Like if he was smart, he'd be like, "Yeah, I'm a joke sometimes." Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, and people would love him so much more if they did, but no.
Right.
I feel the same way about him as Mariah Carey does right now.
Yeah.
I think he's a little bitch.
Yeah, no. So like, they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna go to this house party. It's out in like the Brunswick area. And they wanted to go stop at this bar and have, pregame a few beers before heading out there. That was like in Medina. Well, my parents live in Medina, so of course I hit up Ma and I was like, hey, I'm gonna be in your neck of the woods. Here's the sitch. You want to come meet us out for a couple of drinks, And she's like, yeah, that's cool. We can do that. So like we end up, the day's going on and we go out there and meet out with her and like her and like my stepdad. So it was fun, like they had tall ass drinks for really cheap, and we had a shot called a Little Beer, and I'm not sure exactly what's in it, but it tastes like vanilla ice cream, and it's delicious as fuck. And apparently they're called Little Beers because when you actually get the shot, it's that golden color of the beer, and then whatever that's I think it's like a liqueur or something that's on top, and it looks like the head. Yeah. But it's super delicious. But no, it was really funny, and this was the first time my buddy and his girlfriend was with us, and this is the first time them meeting my folks, And of course, Ma always has to get into the stories, oh, this is one of Tony's new friends. Yeah. Oh, he's got to hear about some shit, And first off, I'm posted as golden child, firstborn. When I'm like, oh, what are you doing?
Ma does that.
Oh yeah, Ma calls me golden child. I mean, not
yeah.
But it's our family thing. I'm golden child because all the rest of the siblings are like, oh, what are we having for dinner? And Ma would be like, oh, I'm making a pesto alfredo pasta, and everyone's like, oh, fucking golden child just gets whatever he wants, because we're getting more pasta, and that's really how it runs down. So it's a family joke of me being the golden child. Yeah. But Ma felt it was necessary. Well, she started telling the story. I had to help finish here. So. During the high school times, me and a bunch of my friends, we'd always get into a bunch of shit, And my one buddy Timmy is like, hey,
Let's sexually experiment.
wait, actually before before I get into this story, let me start off a little bit before this. So I was down visiting friends for like the weekend or whatever, and I go home. And my mom, I come home, and like my mom was like, she would do like my laundry, in 17. I had like an armoire. And when she was like putting my clothes away, she found a thong in there, and they had these little handcuffs on them. It's black thong, right?
And when you're 17 years old.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't have a black thong with handcuffs when you're 17? And so she's looking at him. She's like, this is weird that he has this. And then as she's like, well, I don't know, whatever. And then as she's proceeding to...
Boys will be boys.
Right. So as she's proceeding to, like, put more stuff in there, she finds a receipt for pantyhose. Okay. So now my mom's getting a little worked up, and she starts freaking out like, oh, my God. And mind you,
Do I have a golden girl?
Right, And mind you, this is like, I had to be 17. So this is probably, I don't know, 02, somewhere around there. And so she like goes to my stepdad.
So you're a junior in high school?
Yeah, like a junior in high school, yeah. And so like she goes to my stepdad and she's like, hey, so I was just putting clothes in Tony's thing and I found this thong and this receipt for pantyhose and I don't know what's going on with him. And my stepdad's like, dude, you need to chill out. Like, I'm sure you're overreacting. I'm sure he's got a liable excuse for this, or she's like, no, it's fine. I mean, he can.
It's weird if it, like, in your mom's defense, like, you kept it in your underwear drawer. Like, it's only to be worn as underwear.
Well, let me explain. It's
not like you're like.
So, like, you have these two, like, cupboards, like, where you hang clothes. And in one of the doors, there's multiple shelves.
Oh.
So, like, one shelf was, like, T-shirts. Another one was, like, jeans and so forth. And then the drawers were actually used for, like, underwear and socks. I had the thong thrown in the back of one of those shelves. It was, like, the T-shirts or jeans. And that paper was probably in the cupboard area. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I had a bunch, or it could have been in one of the drawers that I had a bunch of junk shit in it, So she's like, it's fine. Whatever he chooses to do with his life, I'll support him. I love him no matter what. He's my baby boy, this and that. So I come home, from the weekend from, like, my buddy's house, and I walk in the door, and I was like, hey, Ma, like, what's going on? And she's like, come here, you need to sit down. And I'm like, okay. So at this point, I'm like, fuck, what did I do? Like, what am I getting in trouble for? Like...
She found my high heel shoes.
I hope she didn't find my Juggalo fast tickets. And she sits me down and she's like, hey, I just want you to know that whatever
you're
you
too
choose...
old for me to be doing your laundry anymore. That's what she should have said.
Dude, I tried doing my own
laundry. If you're buying handcuffed thongs, I'm not doing your laundry.
I would do my own laundry, but if I wasn't home and my basket was full, she would do it.
You got a good mom. You traumatized her.
Right. So she's like, listen, I don't care what you choose to do with your life. I just want you to know that I love you. And I'm like, okay. All right. That's weird. I was like, yeah, I love you too.
I support your right to adopt somebody someday.
So then I'm like, all right. I'm like, what are you talking about? And she's like, well, I found these thongs. And they have handcuffs on them, and they're in your drawers there. And I start laughing. I'm like, okay, And she's like, and I'm like, and she's like, I found this receipt for pantyhose. And I go, all right. And then she's like, look, I don't care if you're bi, straight, gay, whatever you choose. I'll support you. I love you no matter what. And I'm inside, like, I'm laughing inside. I was like, this is ridiculous, And I'm just letting her go on this whole rant. She's like, if you want to get a boyfriend, that's fine. Bring him over. I'll love him too. And then I was like, are you done? And she's like, yeah. I was like, okay, Ma, flip over the receipt. She flips it over. There's a girl's phone number on the back. You should have seen her relief that went over
So
her
did
entire
you buy
body.
these for to wear with this new girl with the phone number?
No.
Why did you buy these?
Okay, all right, good question. Before, all right, I had the receipt. Okay, I got a girl's phone number for probably walking around the mall. We didn't really have cell phones during those times. I don't even remember where the fuck I got the thongs from. It's been a long time ago. So here's where I was getting to. So my friends and I, we would get into shit all the time. We'd always filming stuff, whatever we can do to entertain ourselves. Well, my buddy Timmy comes over, we're hanging out at my buddy Mikey's house, and he goes, "Hey, I was just at the dollar store, and I bought a little kid's costume for a cowboy and an Indian. I know if I wore one, you'd wear the other." And I'm like, "Goddamn right, I'd wear the other."
Yeah.
He's like, "I'm going to be the cowboy."
Yeah.
And I was like, "All right, fair enough. I'll be the Indian." So now we're sitting there pondering, trying to figure out, well, what can we do with this? Like, what's going to be funny that we can get a reaction out of somebody? And then finally we come up with the idea to wear thongs and run through Common Grounds down in West Park. At this time, we were in like North Ridgeville or like Elyria around that time. And so we're like, oh my God, this is a fucking hilarious idea. So we hurry up, we start getting all dressed up. He's got his cowboy hat on, and he's got his vest, and it's got a little sheriff badge, and it's got like a little thing of 3 bullets there. And he's got his like nephew's like horse head with like the stick, And so I get like this headdress. I think we painted. I don't know if we drew some shapes and stuff like on me, and then like I had the bow and arrow. I had my thong on, the black one with the handcuffs.
You're half of the goddamn Village people, and you want to know why your mom's worried about you being gay.
You bring up a solid point. I didn't think about that.
All you need is a big gay construction worker, and your mom's
and
just
a cop.
Yeah.
So right, yeah.
You didn't say gay cop, which implies that all cops are gay. I'm not gonna argue with you. I'm not here to argue with you.
Right. And so, where was I going with this? Oh yeah. So then I think he did too. I can't remember. We put bandanas around our face to hide, And so we get into the back seat of like our buddy's car. Everyone shows up to Common Grounds. Now I have one friend's car that's got an Explorer in the back parking lot with the back door open. I have Mikey that rolls into the back of the back corner with a video camera sitting at the table and waiting so he can get us running from front door to back door. Now, there was a cop in there, so we had to wait in the car for a few minutes. And mind you, this is like end of fall, beginning of winter, so it was cold as fuck. And then so once the cop finally left, our buddy came over to the door and gave us like the high sign, like good to go. So we fucking jump out of the car, and as soon as we get out, there's a couple of dudes there smoking cigarettes, and they see our butts, and they're like, "Ew!"
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? And so we hurry up, we fucking run to that front door.
Every dude's reaction to that, except for you and your friends, Tony.
That's true. I've seen a lot of my friends' butts and wieners and balls in my day.
I'm just saying your mom's smarter than you're giving her credit for.
Oh, I know. She probably had a reason to be worried, I'm sure. So we run through the front door, and he's like screaming, and I'm like, la, 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 like running through, like making the sounds, and like people are just like, what the fuck is happening? Like spitting coffee out and like ducking around, like what the hell? And so like we run through the back door, jump into the Explorer, and like take the fuck off. Now the best part too is that when we were filming it and like we put in like this video that we put together, it gets slowed down and it's the perfect moment. You can see the butts jiggle and the jumping, like as we're trying to jump over people's like legs and all that, diving through. So that's pretty much where.
So did you explain that to your mom?
I don't know I think she's heard this story.
Did you buy the thong for that purpose, or did you just have the thong already?
I don't remember where I got the thong, to be honest.
See, that's interesting.
Like, it's not like I was like wearing thongs for like a girl that I was with. Yeah. It might have been.
I can't imagine what runaway requested that. What teenage runaway you were shacked up with that said, you'd look good in a thong.
Right. What's really funny is that thong actually might have belonged to Mikey. So the sicker part is that his dick and balls was in there.
Yeah.
And then I rested my dick and balls in there as well.
Yeah.
So I wish I kind of knew where that song was.
Hey, little handcuffs on it.
Yeah.
Ooh, Mikey shot the sheriff and then he shot the deputy. What's wrong with you?
I don't know, dude.
That's a pretty funny video. Like that's there's some forethought there. That's like like Monty Python type stuff. That's funny.
Right, yeah. I'll just show you the clip. Like it's used to get all kinds
It'd be
of
funny
shit.
if I saw the clip now and I was one of the guys smoking outside. Like, look at these guys.
These fucking guys.
I would definitely remember that.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know. We would always have, we'd have, double dong dildos and, we were beating the hell out of each other with them. Like, someone would be just sitting on the floor playing video games, and you just walk up behind him and just smack him in the back of the head with,
funny.
a double dong dildo,
Yeah.
Like, that's the kind of shit we get into. So I really don't know. I feel like those thongs actually belong to Mikey, and then I didn't have a thong, so he's like, here. You can use mine, And for whatever reason he had them, I have no idea.
What about the pantyhose? Your mom also found pantyhose.
Well, no, she found just the receipt. There was a girl's phone number.
Oh, that's what
I
I'm getting.
feel like
I'm piecing it together.
You just
now.
never listen when I talk. This is why we don't have
I'm
nice
piecing
things.
it together. I thought the way you made it sound like you bought. I thought you were a super baller, and you were like,
Can wear pantyhose also?
You went up to the register with this thong, and then this chick was like, "Oh shit, I see you, Tony," and then she gave you her number just because you bought the thong.
Oh, I thought you were gonna go the other way with this. I thought you were gonna be like, you know how if you go to the grocery store and you're like, I need to buy condoms, but I can't make it seem weird. I'm just buying condoms. So then you start grabbing other things, like it was just a casual pickup. So you start grabbing random things like bananas. And
these are for them.
And Vaseline, just to be like, oh, it was a casual pickup. Like, it's like, oh, you went in to buy this thong and make it seem not weird for buying a thong. You're like, I should buy something else. But right there at the register, there's pantyhose. So it's like, oh, and these too.
I also think it's funny that your mom was overly supportive. I thought it'd be really funny if she didn't bring it up to you. And she just started becoming more and more gay friendly.
What if she
she hung up a rainbow flag in the front yard?
Right.
She's like, "That's for my son," but never talks to you about it. You're like, "Mom,
Never.
what is that all about?"
And anytime I bring it up to her, I'm like, "What are you doing? Why are you putting the stuff up in my room and on my car?"
There's been
no, I'm just what? This is what I'm just doing this for you because I love you.
There's been more than one occasion when my dad's like, "I need to talk to you outside," and I'm like, "All right, pops, let's go," and I'll go outside, and he's like, "You gay?"
Just straight up.
Just tell me now if you are. It's okay. I'm like, first of all, I don't believe you when you say it's okay. I know you too well. You don't mean that. And second of all, no, I'm not.
You're going to shun me as soon as I say yes.
And then I turned around and sashayed away. No joke. One time I was over there with my the girlfriend that I have that and my dad pulled me outside and was like, "You just go ahead and tell me. It's okay."
This is true.
He might as well have said, me and your mom got a bet going on, and I'm about to win some money, so tell me how gay you are.
On a scale of 1 to huge balls, how much do you like
On a scale of
dick?
1 to Nick Cannon. I'm like, "Oh, Dad, even you don't like Nick Cannon?"
How much do you love dick?
No, that's definitely happened before. And every time I'm just like, "Oh, man, what am I doing wrong?"
I've never had that talk. My dad's never actually mentioned anything like that. But I'm pretty sure he was probably concerned on hearing stories or seeing videos or hearing us talk about certain things.
That's why, I wonder if it's I don't know if I was really that effeminate ever. I've always had manly dude jobs, factory style jobs,
right.
But I'm I don't know what it was. I think it was just because I was a little more socially conscious than the rest of my family, maybe. But I don't know what it was. I wonder, what makes you such a man? When you were 19 years old, what did you do that was so not gay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, my dad was 21 and my mom was 19 when they had me. So I guess, to be fair, he could have been gay all the way up to at least 21.
Yeah.
But, when I was 21, I was living with a man
Well, I looked
and
at my.
we were getting drunk every day.
I remember one time when my dad asked me. He always took me outside. Well, that's what you did in my house, anyways. You always ended up on the front porch, like whispering, usually talking shit about the people inside the house. Like, let's go outside. We got to talk about these fucks.
Right.
But I remember clearly what I told him. I was like, Dad, go upstairs and look at my underwear drawer. If you see a thong up there, then you'll know your answer. That was not the case.
Yeah, he didn't find a thong with
he didn't
handcuffs
find
on there.
Nope.
Zero thongs. Well, you lucked out, I guess.
I guess. No matter what, I think you just always assume, like, you know, you're like, my kid's not manly enough.
No.
Well,
I don't know. Like, I've never even got like the sex talk. I never got any of that
really.
stuff. I had to figure all that out on my own.
Yeah.
Like through my friends and woods porn. That's something I want to always discuss with you. Do you know what woods porn is?
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm not
Everybody
talking
does.
about like porn of people having sex in the woods. I'm talking
I'm
about
listening.
I'm talking about you and your friends. You got to be 12, 13, and you go out and you're playing manhunt or whatever, tag in the woods.
Manhunt? Tony, you just like lob it right across this plate for me.
Jeez.
You're playing
All the doors are open.
Manhunt. Let's play Boy Find. What are you and your friends playing Manhunt?
I'll tell you about manhunt on a later day.
My dad definitely would have known you were gay.
You know how I know you're gay? Because you played manhunt. So yeah, you're with your buddies, 12, 13 years old, out in the woods, playing
This
around.
is a real thing. Like, this is universal.
Right.
Like, it's not for, it's not always the woods, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Sometimes it's the dumpster. But
That's
like,
what it is, the dumpster in my
right.
case,
So
yeah.
and let me get through this. It's basically, is that you get into the woods playing around, you come across like a hollow stump or like a hole in the log, and then you find dirty magazines. You know, and then you're like, holy shit, this is what a vagina looks like. You know, like, oh, these are boobs. You know, and then you call everybody over and you're standing in the circle, kind of like in the scene with the Goonies when they're holding that piece up and like lining it up with the rocks from the map.
Sure.
You're doing that same thing, but with a dirty magazine with all your friends circled around you, you know. And then I've had this discussion. I've had multiple people say that they found it in dumpsters.
That's what, yeah. Me, it was like apartment complex dumpsters.
Right. And you know what the sad thing is, too, is that...
How much porn people were throwing away back then?
Well, yeah, there's that,
Like-
too. Well, it wasn't necessarily... Well, I guess if you're finding the dumpster, sure. But in the woods, you know that's a kid that's probably a little bit older, like 15, 16, that stole a magazine from their dad's collection.
Or somebody, yeah.
Yeah, and then took it into the woods, and then their friends would go there and look at it, and they'd have a circle jerk, maybe a soggy waffle, and then they leave it there.
Sure.
You know, but then you get younger kids that are finding it, you know, and then this is just become a thing.
Yeah.
But now the sad thing is that with all the technology, kids will never be able to experience woods porn.
Is that sad?
I don't know. I felt that's a good part of my childhood.
Yeah,
you know, like
but
the
that's-
first time,
but
something
what would
you
be
always
a better
remember.
part of your childhood? I'll tell you, carrying around a phone with every naked picture ever on it.
That's very
That'd
true.
be a better part of your childhood.
That is a very better part.
Yeah.
But you know,
Yeah, I see, like, your nostalgia
you know,
for it. but-
PlayStation's better than Nintendo.
Yeah.
But the kids
Also-
today will never know how shitty it is to play fucking Friday the 13th on a 2-button controller. That's goddamn impossible to beat.
Yeah, but dry humping back then was pretty cool. And now you got wet humping, and that's way better. You're never going to go back.
No, you can't go back.
Nope.
Yeah. But just for, nostalgia reasons, woods porn. The
Yeah.
kids today, they're never going to be able to experience. It's the little things, you know? Like, yeah, it's fucking amazing to have all the porn in your hand at any given time. Mm-hmm. You know, the second that no one's around, you can have a jerk-off right there.
Sure.
You know? And like I said, I've had this discussion, and friends have found it in the woods. They found it in dumpsters.
Dumpsters was my
They
deal,
found it,
yeah.
like behind buildings, whatever the case may be. You know, but it's weird. And actually, the best part of this is that part of that discussion, one of my friends goes, I feel bad that they're never going to be able to experience that. Like, I feel like that we should probably buy some dirty magazines and then go stash it in the woods somewhere. And I go, do you want to go to prison? Like, you're planting porn for children to find. You see how bad this sounds?
Yeah, that does sound pretty bad.
Right. And he's doing it for the good, you know?
Yeah, he's like,
But-
here you go.
And there's no point.
There's
I
no
mean,
point.
no kids are even playing in the woods anymore.
No.
They're jerking off to their phones and playing Call of Duty. So they're not even playing out in the woods anymore.
No.
So there's no point. You're actually wasting $13.99 on big black butts or, mature Asian women magazines to stuff into a log somewhere that no one's going to find. Yeah.
Issue 5. You got a little Saggy Sally issue 5.
Yeah. Women over 70.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love that?
I see what you mean, but like I also don't think it's like that big of a deal. Like, it's just progression. The thing that sucks is like they won't get the jokes that we will about it, But good for them. They got it better than we do.
Yeah, I mean, there's the jokes that they'll never know about sticky pages.
Yeah. Or like old moldy ass things hanging out in the woods,
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, that was a thing that no one's, these millennials, they're never gonna know about.
I remember thinking like, that is not what I imagined it was gonna look like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I
His
remember
vagina's weird looking.
Yeah. And this seems like way too close to the butthole right now. Like that seemed like I thought there would be more distance in between there and there.
Right.
Nope.
And it turns out that there's really no separation. It's just one long line all the way from front to back.
Yeah.
Which is weird as well.
Yeah. That's a design flaw.
Yeah. But I understand they're in a rush, Guy was in a rush to hurry up and get, fellas and ladies all together.
Did you spend a lot of time playing in the woods?
Yeah.
Like, do you think you found that magazine organically, or do you think, like, you just stumbled upon it, or did somebody tip you off to it, or how do you think it came about?
I don't know. I don't remember. I think as far as the magazine goes, I think that was a complete accident.
Yeah.
Like, I remember having one friend being like, hey, come over and hang out at my house. And there was like 3 or 4 of us that would go over. And the garage was like kind of set up as like a hangout. And, same thing, like being like 7th, 8th grade or whatever. And then he's like, hey, check this out. And he pops a VHS tape into the VCR. And it's just hardcore banging.
Yeah.
And so we're like, whoa. But then we all started getting really uncomfortable. And
That's
we're like, okay,
exactly
I gotta
like
go.
I tried to avoid that at all costs.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm like, this is just other dudes hanging out here. I'm not into this.
Well, yeah, when you're that young though, you're like, holy shit! I can't believe I'm actually watching.
I gotta get informed, and then I gotta get out of here.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna get in so much trouble. Let me watch just enough to see what's going on here,
Yeah.
and then I gotta go.
I remember there was one time I was like being babysat / hanging out with this kid, and like his mom worked with my mom, and we like were playing in the backyard and goofing off and being dumb kids. Like we went fishing. He had a pond and stuff. And then like we were inside after it got dark, and he's like got all the movie stations, so he's Cinemax or whatever, and
Skinemax, yeah.
And he put it on, and I was just like, I don't want to be doing this right now. Like I'm not trying to watch this with you. And I didn't really say anything, but I was just like, yeah, this is just like. There was so much of it was acting and then just like sex.
Right.
And I was like, the acting is terrible and there's no story, and I'm not trying to just watch this with another like preteen boy, like 11-year-old boys. And then his dad came in. And
you got caught?
Yeah. And I didn't really get in trouble, but I was just like, it just wasn't my thing. It still isn't really my thing, but like I was just like, you're really into this, and I am not at all as into this as you. In fact, you're making me uncomfortable.
Right. Do you remember like the Skinemax, like when like the you get to like a certain channel that your cable box wasn't picking up, but kind of picking up? So it's like the channels were like flipping, and then like it was like a porn channel, but then there would be like you'd see boobs like that would come through. It would be
scrambled.
Yeah, the scrambled porn, I guess. So you'd be like watching it, and then you're like,
I've never really experienced it, but I've heard people talk about it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So like you're sitting there and you're like watching it, and then you're like looking behind you to be like, I hope my mom doesn't come in here. And then like it's just scrambling, the channels are flipping up and down, and then occasionally like, oh, there's a boob, but it's like a warped like green blue colored boob, and then it goes from like being like really small to really huge because the waves are just distorting everything.
Well, what's even worse than that is I stocked a convenience store when I was young. Like, so I walked to this convenience store, it's about a quarter mile down the road. And I worked there for 8 hours, and then I worked there for 8 hours, and then I'd come home, and it'd be midnight. So I worked 4 to midnight.
and I would eat dinner and sit there and watch TV. And it was like a regular like 3, 5, or 8 station or 43. I think it was 43 because they played like cartoons. So I'd fall asleep like watching some shit rerun cartoon like Jetsons or whatever.
Right
at midnight. And then like 3 o'clock would roll around. I'd be asleep on the couch. And it would be just Girls Gone Wild playing for like 7 hours in a row. And my mom's like waking up to go to work. And I'm just like, I swear I didn't just fall asleep watching this shit Girls Gone Wild commercial over and over where she's like drunk, puppy dog eyed girls are just showing their tits. And then it's like, order it now.
Yeah, I remember those commercials.
And they play for like 8 fucking hours all night long.
I remember that.
But I'm like, I fell asleep watching the Jetsons. I never
Mom,
really
look at the
explained
TV
it.
guide.
Yeah, look at the TV guide. It says Jetsons and then tit commercial.
Yeah, for the next 8 hours.
Yeah, just over and over again.
Until 7 a.m.
Yeah, I
when
remember my mom just making
Flintstones
coffee,
came on.
and I'm like asleep there, and like I wake up to her just shaking her head in disgust. And then she yells upstairs, "Fred, you see that? He's not gay. I told you he's not gay."
She knew you were going to be a dirty old man right from the start.
Yeah. And I was so like ashamed of it, but I'm like I had nothing to be ashamed of.
Right. Yeah. No, those are the fun times. You know, kids aren't going to be able to experience that kind of stuff. You know.
Yeah, I was
even having an 8-hour marathon of Girls Gone Wild commercials,
like, terrible commercials where they don't show you anything.
Yeah.
Except just like
just
the
it says Gone Wild or
exploited college girls.
Yeah.
And I was really just worried about Spacely Sprockets and the problem that George was having at work that day. That's what I was worried about. Eating some cold food that was like Salisbury steak leftovers.
Running in the fridge and grabbing slices of bologna. Then you fold it in half. You take a bite in the center and then you look through it. And watch your cartoons that way? No, just me?
No, I never did that.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I just did that.
I never did that.
Yeah.
We didn't have cable really for the most part, so I got stuck with like 3, 5, 8.
I don't think we really had it either. I mean, my parents were really young when they had me, but I was like an only child, so I was like 8. So
yeah,
I remember watching cartoons and stuff, but that was
Yeah.
probably like
Saturday
channel
morning type
19
thing,
or
yeah.
whatever.
Darkwing Duck after school or something.
Channel 43 after
Yeah.
school at like 3:30. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, man. There's a lot of kids aren't going to be able to experience that shit anymore these
Nope.
days. And it's a huge bummer. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm happy that I have
like
boobs
progress
at my fingertips. You know.
Yeah, we've made progress. We lived it so that they don't have to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But all those stories we would hear from the old guys, like the grandpas, and saying like, hey, in my day, it costed 10 cents for a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
We're gonna be those old guys going, back in my day, we used to find our porn in the woods, not through the technology, through the interwebs. That's gonna be us.
Yeah.
I mean, we're doing it right now. We're like our early 30s.
Yeah.
Jeez.
That's how this works.
Yeah.
We're
I
just
kind of
gonna-
like it though.
Do you?
I think like when I was young, I was like, man, it's gonna suck when I'm that old guy and just chanting off, nonsense shit that the kids don't give a shit about. But now I like being that old man.
I think we're like lucky too that we grew with the technology. Like it seemed like our parents before us, like the technology would wash over them too fast, Like, and we kind of grew. We came at a good time in which we remember what it's like to not have the internet, and now that we do have all this technology, like we grew with it, and like there's not stuff that gets by me that easy,
Right.
But my parents definitely. There's stuff that you got to explain how to use everything new that they buy.
Oh yeah.
So that's the good part. Like if you look at it like that, like we went from like tough times on the porn scene when we were young to like nothing but porn now.
Yeah, just 100% porn at any given second.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, before the technology, there was a lot. You know what we should do too? I want to get into. We should do like a '90s like episode and get down into like all that shit that we grew up before technology, like things of like having to remember people's phone numbers or writing them down, not being able to get a call unless you're at home.
Yeah.
Like just all that goofy shit that.
Or did you ever call from a payphone home, but you didn't have a quarter?
Oh yeah.
So you would be like, "Will you accept a collect call from Mom? Come pick me up. I'm right here."
Yeah. Yeah. The 1010 220.
Yeah.
Mom, I'm at the mall. Come pick me up. Yeah.
Will you accept a call from? I'm over at Billy's house. Come get me.
Yeah. I remember doing that, or even just asking people around the mall for change.
Yeah.
Like, I actually, when Foo Fighters came out with their first album, I had me and 2 other friends going around asking strangers for change and like $1 here or
Oh,
whatever.
no,
and we'd be
you-
like, I need to call my mom. I'm $1 short for getting this food because I'm really hungry. And then I was able to acquire enough money to buy the first Foo Fighters album. But we'll get into that a later day.
Yeah.
But yeah, we should definitely do one of those episodes here sometime soon.
Sure.
We'll make a list of like all the cool shit that we did as before technology
Yep.
in the 90s, and even all the goofy fucking toys and shit we have and drinks, you know, just like Tamagotchis and like Jasta.
What's
You
a
know.
Jasta?
Jasta was that pop that came out after Surge, and I forget what like the special ingredient it was, but they're like when you're that young, everyone's like, drink some Jasta, it makes you really horny.
Really?
Oh yeah, this is like a thing in like 8th grade.
Really?
Yeah, but it was like Surge or like Mountain Dew. It's just a fucking pure sugar pop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
We'll
funny.
We'll have to get into this.
yeah,
man.
I
There's
can't
a
wait
lot-
to hear more about Jasta. I'm gonna do some research.
Yeah, I can't wait to get into
I never
this.
heard that.
Oh yeah, dude, Jasta was a thing. That was like they came out after Surge. Like Surge was like the new Mountain Dew, just like basically.
It makes you really horny. That
So
sounds
much-
like a nightmare.
Well, it didn't actually do that.
Yeah.
But that's when kids were like,
Like, why
"Oh,
would you
don't eat
wanna
the
be
green
more
M&Ms because
horny?
those ones make you horny."
Yeah. I've
That's
heard
just the
that.
dumb child shit, you know.
Yeah.
That's what we do. So, we'll have a '90s episode.
Yeah. I like that idea.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. Get back into those fucking things and remember old stories and that. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna go look through your underwear drawer and make sure there's not any thongs with handcuffs.
All right, fair enough. Okay, yeah, I think we're about done here. We can cash out. Did you have anything that you wanted to plug
Yes,
before we
I
got
have
here?
one thing. I have a. People don't know this, but my day job is a job I made for myself where I'm a screen printer, and I screen print T-shirts and stuff like that for bands and groups and the high school.
I do
for
have
us.
one shirt that you've made for me, which
Yeah,
I
that's
love.
true.
Yeah.
I did make you a shirt. And actually, that's funny is that I made my mom make that shirt because my mom was in between jobs, and I kind of hired her along the way to work for me, you know. And I brought the stuff over here for her to make this shirt for you, and it says, "I snatch kisses and vice versa." And she just looked at me and shook her head.
Right.
Yeah.
When I posted the picture
So
of,
you don't just do this to your ma, you do this to mine too.
Yeah, I have that gift. I mean, I've when I posted the picture of me wearing it when you made it for me, I posted that selfie of me wearing it, and my mom's like, "Oh, what's vice versa mean?" And I was like, "Oh fuck." And I was like, it's nothing, Ma. It's just it's whatever. It's just I snatch kisses. That's all." And she's like, No, I get it. She's like, "But I don't know what vice versa means." I was like, "Oh, it
Like
means."
I'm eating box, ma. You thought I was gay, but I'm eating box.
I was like, "Oh, vice versa means live, laugh, love" in Italian. And she wrote, "I'm not Italian, LOL."
Oh
And-
no.
Yeah, so and then everybody that else is going to the comment like, "This is
Oh,
priceless. This is
no.
amazing. I can't believe you got away
Your
with
poor
it."
mom.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go on.
Well, and my girlfriend's a teacher, and she has an after-school program that she's a part of, and they are losing funding for next year. And it's a great program, and it takes at-risk kids that are having problems with school, and it gets them on the right track. It feeds them. They feed them. They make sure they get their homework done, and then they give them a chance to play and hang out and be kids.
Yeah,
So
that's really cool.
yeah, it's important. It's the things that like we got when we were kids, and these
Yeah.
are kids that probably won't have that chance without these programs. So what they're doing is they're doing fundraisers of different kinds, and this is the only time I'm going to ask people to do anything money-wise for us. But I'm selling T-shirts and I'm printing for free and mailing out to people through Etsy. It's Etsy.com, and the shop name is Illyria America. That's my company's name, my business name. And it's just a T-shirt. It's got printing on. It says evidence on one side, and on the back it has a thing about after-school programs. And they call it evidence because the administration now in power claims that there's no evidence that after-school programs have any good impact. So, and that might also be why funding gets cut.
Right. Yeah, that's
The
shitty.
political climate. So, If you want to help out the teens of Elyria, the misled youth of Elyria that I might have been at one time,
Right, sure.
stay on the right direction, then you can buy a T-shirt. They're $15, and I'm telling you, $10 of that and more, $10 of it pretty much goes to the after-school program directly. It doesn't go to me.
Okay, that's awesome.
The rest of the money pays for shipping and for the cost of the shirt. So I'm donating my time and my resources and my money occasionally. So if you're interested in helping out, go to Etsy.com, and the shop name is Elyria America. There's only one thing for sale there, and buy it. And if you do buy it, make a note that you're from the podcast, and I'll throw in whatever I have around the house that I'm getting rid of. I have stickers and stuff like that. Other things that I sell, I'll make sure to treat the podcast listeners right. Maybe I'll put a little recipe in there. Maybe a little recipe. And I'll spray it with some cologne, give it a little kiss.
Yeah. That's a really good idea.
Yeah, or if you just want to donate, you could do that too. So,
is there a specific place that they can send donations to?
No, but if you make a note through Etsy, then I can set something up.
Okay.
Not offhand, but my business name is Elyria America. We're also on Facebook, and you can send money through Facebook that way. So I could set up a donations button there, and I'll make sure all the money goes to that. I don't make much money doing what I do. I'm a home-based screen printer, and I'll give what I got. So hopefully other people will too.
Yeah, and that's really cool. I mean, everybody that's doesn't want these kids to grow up to be, a Tony and Freddie or
you don't want them to be like us.
Scoundrels.
And I'll tell you what, you don't buy a shirt, I'm going to show up with these kids. We're going to steal something from your car. We're going to come in your house and take something nice.
And sell it back to you on Etsy.
How you like me now?
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do.
All right, give us the name and the web address for this again.
If you do Etsy.com and then / Elyria America, ELYRIA America, and then you'll find the shop, and there's only one thing for sale. It's that T-shirt, and that would help out a lot.
Yeah, that's awesome. That'd be really cool if we can get everybody in there, because you said it's all canceled. They've already officially announced that it's just canceled, so it would be really great too.
There's no funding for it. They're trying to figure out for next year, and this is just one of the things that they're doing to raise money so they can have it next year.
And I know some of these kids probably need this and look forward to it. I know being a kid these days probably isn't any easier than how we were.
And it doesn't matter what your political affiliation with. There's plenty of Republicans that believe in after-school programs and Big Brothers, Big Sisters and stuff like that.
Right.
It's some of them don't. So it's not about politics or anything like that. It's just about providing for them what the rest of us pretty much got.
Right.
And that's what to be successful. You come home and you do your homework and you eat food and you play, and that's what these kids get to do. So these are all at-risk kids, and they're all deserving of it.
Right. And especially too is if they come from a broken home, this is probably time away that they like to be around other friends and learning and doing the homework, and they get to hang out with their friends and eating snacks, and then they get to go home and finish out their night, go to bed, get to go to school the next day, and kind of do it all over again. So I imagine for the younger crowd, that's something they probably really look forward to.
Yeah.
So this is a really good program. I like this.
And for every donation, I'll take one dirty magazine and I'll go hide it in the woods. How about that?
All right, I'm into this.
I'll just be like the Johnny Appleseed of porn.
I'm gonna donate a lot then. I want to see where these porn magazines are gonna go.
Absolutely.
All right, everybody, that you hear that, check out the site, make some donations. Help out Shirtful Freddy and the children and for this program. Also, don't forget, if you are not part of our Facebook page, go to facebook.com/SweetNothingspodcast. That will get you, make sure you like the page. That will give you the alerts when we do the live feeds every week. And when we do post up the links for the actual audio, then you'll be able to, click on the link and check it through there. If you don't want to do Facebook or don't have Facebook, you can go to YouTube. Same situation, youtube.com. Sorry about that. You can go to YouTube and just search up Sweet Nothings Podcast with Tony and Freddie. And don't forget to subscribe. Again, if you subscribe, you enjoy it. You know, you get to get the notifications when we get a new episode in, and that way, you know, you're like, oh crap, I kind of forgot that. You know, if there's a new episode up, you'll be first one alerted, and check out the new episode. And I guess that's,
Tune in next week.
Yeah.
What's next? What's going on next week?
Tune in next week to find out when the time that I found out that I had 3 balls.
Oh shit!
Yeah. Tune in for that.
Oh,
Thanks for listening, everybody. This is Sweet Nothings Podcast with Tony and Freddie.
bye.